Good morning, y'all. I wanted to come on here and talk about what has been the most frustrating part of the writing process, and that's scammers. So, if you decide you want to write a book, then you're going to have to deal with scammers as well. Now, I had a recent experience I wanted to share with everyone. I'm not going to mention the person's name in case they are even remotely legitimate, so I don't end up in some form of defamation lawsuit, but all kind of red flags. So, the person's initials are TG and their company's initials are TBG. And this person contacted me, sound pretty good. It was an opportunity for them to get me on speaking engagements. No guarantees, and I respected that. It was all throughout the contract, making it clear that there were no guarantees. And even though I'm a lawyer, admittedly, I almost got pulled in because it sounded like a great opportunity for a fee that I found to be reasonable in comparison to what I've researched other publicists. But let me just share some of these red flags with you. There was a few bad reviews, but I was willing to overlook them because you can't please everybody. But then on the Instagram and the Facebook, there were all these testimonials of people praising them. So I'm like, it must be legitimate. They're not AI. It's a little arrogant, little chatterbox, talked a lot, a little narcissistic. There was a certain level of pleasantry in them. And I felt like if you're annoying, that's fine. You know, you're annoying for my benefit. You're working for me. I can deal with that. Even called himself my little brother by the end. So he endeared himself. Cool. But then, and we scheduled a call. It sounded good, gave me clarification. He had an answer for everything that was plausible, but some of the things that just kept not sitting right with me. So all these testimonials, he didn't tag any of his people. I collaborate with people all the time, and I make sure that I tag them so that it spreads. Didn't really follow anybody either. Had some major news outlets he followed, but that's it. A lot of followers though, over 3,000 followers. No official website, only IG and Facebook. Nothing that pointed to an official state residence. I looked over the contract, it didn't have it. There's a jurisdiction clause that you put in the contract, and it didn't even list a state that would govern it. Oh, and the contract, when I did look at it, it was formatted horribly. And Amadou said that he would need his attorney to amend the contract. Oh, I forgot this part. So the value when we talked, he reeled me in with a Juneteenth special. You get an extra month free if you booked his services by 5 p.m. on that day. So he did reel me in with that. He actually did get $100 from me because if I hadn't done all of my research yet, but I didn't want to lose that opportunity. And I'm ashamed to say that I was ignoring some of the red flags, hoping that I'd be able to, it was a good deal. But then, like I said, I looked at the contract. It was horrible. It was poorly formatted. It did not have any official company address on it, uh, phone number, contacts, any of that. What else? Took payments through Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, it's some called Slice, I think, but not an Apple Pay or a Google Pay. Didn't accept checks. Said something about cash. You could mail cash. I didn't even get to that. Or he said something about we're not in your area right now, so we can't use cash. So this was the best part. I was able to identify some of the persons who were the clients, and I reached out to them, and one of them actually responded. And she said it's a waste of time. He won't get you any bookings. Essentially, don't fall for it. And I'm gonna keep her identity private. She just didn't want to get involved in case this turned to a lawsuit or anything like that. And I'm not doing any of that. So, but either way, yeah, that was the icing on the cake for me. Bottom line, the next day we were gonna reconvene and talk. Exchange pleasantries, so forth and so on. Very pleasant conversation. I had to tell him honestly, I was like, it's too many red flags for me. I said, I'm not going to impugn your credibility or suggest that you're a scammer, but it's too many red flags for me to commit to this. To which he immediately just said, all right, have a good summer, and then hung up. He said, no problem, have a good summer, and hung up. A few minutes later, I checked, blocked, phone call, blocked on IG. I think probably blocked on Facebook. I don't know. I didn't really look. So just be careful of these things. As an artist, you want your stuff to be out there. You want people to read your works, and you want an opportunity to expose a larger market. All of that makes sense, but just be careful about the scammers because they know that that's what you want, and you got to be careful. So that's it. I just wanted to share that. Hopefully, this benefits someone, and talk soon.